Hello and welcome everyone to Now German, Lektion 73, Lesson 73. Hey, Xi.
Hello, everyone. Hey, Gregor.
So, see, when you go to work, of course, you have many things that you need to do, but sometimes there is also time for a coffee break and you have some chit chat, right?
Yes.
I think one question you hear quite often at this chit chat conversation is, Wo warst du gestern? Where were you yesterday? What would you answer if someone asks you that in German?
Ich war zu Hause.
Yes, you were at home. That's right. All right, and some other options is what we see in today's dialogue, and also we'll chat again about it some more in the end. So let's take a look.
Wo warst du gestern?
Gestern war ich in Berlin. Ich habe meine Familie besucht.
Ach so, was habt ihr gemacht?
Wir waren im Café Himmel und haben heiße Schokolade getrunken. Das war sehr lecker. Und was hast du gestern gemacht?
Ach nichts. Ich war nur zu Hause.
All right, let's look at the vocabulary. First, we have sein.
Sein.
That is to be. And in this lesson, we'll actually learn a new tense that is called Präteritum. That's another past form other than perfect, which we already learned in the last lessons. But before we do that, can you conjugate sein in the present tense?
Sure. Sein. Ich bin. Du bist. Er ist. Wir sind. Er seid. Sie sind.
That's right, exactly. And now in Präteritum, I was in German is ich war.
Ich war.
And you were is du warst.
Du warst.
Yes, and in this dialogue we also see it was, which is es war.
Es war.
And we were is wir waren.
Wir waren.
Okay, and we'll look at it some more in today's grammar, where I'll also tell you more about how this is used and when we use which past form. And we have gestern.
Gestern.
That is yesterday. And die Familie.
Die Familie.
The family. And what you do very often with the Familie is besuchen.
Besuchen.
That is to visit. What is the Partizip 2 of besuchen?
Besucht.
Yes. Why is it not gebesucht?
Because there is already prefix of besuchen, so no need to add additional prefix.
That's right. And it's a non-separable prefix, which means that there is no ge ended after the prefix as well. Okay, and then we have ach so.
Ach so.
Oh, I see. Ach so, das ist lecker.
Lecker.
That means delicious. All right, a few more. We have our favorite word for many Germans that they use all the time. That is machen.
Machen.
To do or to make. And what is the Partizip 2?
Gemacht.
Yes. Let's do an example. How do you say, I make a cake?
Ich mache die Kuchen.
Yes, a cake, we will say einen Cake. Oder einen Kuchen in German. Ich mache einen Kuchen. And now how would you say, I made a cake with perfect?
Ich habe eine Kuchen gemacht.
Yes, we also stay with einen, so the article doesn't change. It is der Kuchen, is masculine, and then in accusative it is einen. All right, but that was just a small practice for the verb machen. Another noun we see in the dialogue is die Schokolade.
Die Schokolade.
Which is of course the chocolate. And what is a hot chocolate?
Heiße Schokolade.
Yes. Do you know what is cold chocolate in German?
Kalte Schokolade.
Exactly. Kalte Schokolade. Which do you prefer?
Heiße Schokolade.
Me too. Okay. And what do you do with the chocolate?
Trinken.
Yes. To drink, trinken, exactly. And what is the Partizip 2 of that?
Getrinken.
Getrunken. You see there it's irregular with U. All right. And then we have nothing.
Nichts.
That's right. Nichts. And only or just.
Nur.
Yes. And at home.
Zu Hause.
Great. Any questions about these words?
Kuchen. Just want to double make sure. Kuchen is der Kuchen.
Yes, it is der
Okay.
Kuchen. Exactly. So if you hear einen, so machen has an accusative object. So when you have einen in accusative, that is always masculine. Because if it were feminine, what would it be? Not einen, but?
Eine.
Yes. And if it were neuter?
Ein.
That's right, exactly. So if you have einen, you already know that is something masculine. And so it is der Kuchen, that's right. Any other questions?
No.
Okay, then let's look at our dialogue one more time.
Wo warst du gestern?
Gestern war ich in Berlin. Ich habe meine Familie besucht.
Ach so, was habt ihr gemacht?
Wir waren im Café Himmel und haben heiße Schokolade getrunken. Das war sehr lecker. Und was hast du gestern gemacht?
Ach, nix. Ich war nur zu Hause.
Yes. All right, then let's look at our grammar. We have now two different past tenses. We first look at the verb sein. That is the focus of this lesson. And so you already conjugated the present tense at the vocab. And here you also see the perfect tense. How would you conjugate sein in perfect tense?
Ich bin gewachsen. Du bist gewachsen.
Careful, it is gewesen. Gewesen.
Gewesen. Ich bin gewesen. Du bist gewesen. Er ist gewesen. Wir sind gewesen. Er ist gewesen. Sie sind gewesen.
Exactly. And so you see, actually, the conjugation is the same as the present tense. You just add then the Partizip 2, which is gewesen. But for the Präteritum, it is a bit different. And we actually have a full conjugation that changes according to the person and the number of people addressed. So in the singular, we start with ich war.
Ich war.
That is, I was. And then du warst.
Du warst.
You were. And er war.
Er war.
He was. And wir waren.
Wir waren.
We were. Ihr wart.
Er wart.
You were. And sie waren.
Sie waren.
They were. And you, as usual, the third person plural sie waren is also, of course, the polite form. I just want to remember you all that this is the same, except that the letter S of the sie will then be capitalized. But other than that, we use it the same way. All right. And so now, how do I ask, where are you as a question in the present tense?
Wo warst du?
No, I said in the present tense. So in the present tense, it is wo bist du?
Wo bist du?
Yes, and if I ask you the same about Präteritum, then you can say what you just said.
Wo warst du?
Exactly. And then you can, for example, in the present tense, if you say, I am at home, how would you say that?
Ich bin zu Hause.
Yes, and the same in Präteritum?
Ich war zu Hause.
Yes. So the good thing about Präteritum is you don't need to learn any new sentence word order because it's the same exact sentence word order as presents. It's not like a perfect where you have two verbs and one needs to go to the end, but here the verb just stays in position 2 as you have it with any normal sentence. And I want to briefly mention, so we now learned two different times, the perfect and the Präteritum. And for most words, we always use the perfect in spoken language. But for sein and also for haben, which we'll look at in next lesson, we prefer to use the Präteritum because it is shorter. And the perfect has sort of a verb repetition. If you say, ich bin gewesen, bin is sein and gewesen is also sein. So we don't like that too much in German. That's why these verbs are a bit special and we use the Präteritum also in spoken language more than we use the perfect. Does that all make sense?
Yes. Okay. So in other words, other verbs are more preferable to use the perfect tense over the Präteritum in the spoken language.
Yes, exactly. And also the Präteritum, you only need to learn haben and sein for level A1. For other verbs, you learn the Präteritum at the higher levels. And they all have their own conjugation and some are irregular. So there is some memorization to do. So if you learn about past or you want to talk about the past, just use the perfect for everything except for haben and sein. You can now use the Präteritum after this lesson and the next lesson. Any other questions?
No.
Good, then let's look at the dialogue one more time.
Wo warst du gestern?
Gestern war ich in Berlin. Ich habe meine Familie besucht.
Ach so, was habt ihr gemacht?
Wir waren im Café Himmel und haben heiße Schokolade getrunken. Das war sehr lecker. Und was hast du gestern gemacht?
Ach nichts, ich war nur zu Hause.
All right, and that was our dialogue. Now imagine it is Monday, so 2 days ago, and I ask you the same question. Wo warst du gestern? What would you answer?
Gestern or Wochenende. Imagine
So if I ask you this question on Monday, then gestern refers to the weekend. I can also ask, wo warst du am Wochenende?
Yes. Ich war in Budapest.
War Budapest schön?
Ja, es war sehr schön.
Great. All right. I hope this lesson was also sehr schön. And if not, the next one is already waiting for you. And we'll look at the other verb haben in Präteritum tense as well. So we'll see you there. Tschüss.
Tschüss.